Discover a world beyond the 9-to-5 grind on the student-inspired After Contract Hours podcast, the show where we clock out at work to check in on the well-being of the world by extending health education beyond the classroom for students and young adults everywhere. As a passionate health education teacher and health psychology specialist, I'm here to empower and educate, recognizing that classroom time often falls short in delivering all the essential health tools needed to navigate life successfully. In each episode, we explore popular wellness topics, enhancing student and young adult contentment and personal growth. Get ready for a dose of laughter, learning, and a new level-up reality as we bridge the gap between classroom learning and real-world health insights, creating a trusted resource for adolescents and young adults on their journey to a brighter and healthier tomorrow. Hey guys, the purpose of this video is to give you an introduction to the why behind After Contract Hours podcast. I'm your host, health psychology specialist Courtney Hydorn. So we're going to dive into a few bullet points. And the main goal is just to shed light on my goals with this podcast, how you can help me, and how ultimately together we can help society grow and be better together. So, basic background about me, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Courtney Hydorn. I am married to the love of my life who is behind the scenes right now on the computer doing the editing, and my absolute biggest supporter in the world, my best friend. So just major shout out to Andrew. I love you. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. So, oh my gosh, this document keeps falling. But yeah, married. We just got married in November. He is truly the best. I would not be able to be successful with this without him. Hopefully we don't start a fire with these candles because Stella is curious. Stella is my second best friend and soulmate, and she's just curious about what's going on. Additionally, my full-time job is a middle school health education, physical education, personal fitness, and team sports teacher. I have been in that position for 8 years now. I'm currently in my 8th year teaching. I substitute taught for a year before that, so I guess my 9th year in total of teaching experience. And I also teach as a professor at 2 local universities. At one of those universities, I teach courses on mental health and resiliency techniques, a fitness and wellness concepts course, health and well-being in society. So all right up my alley. Love it so much. And then at the other university, I basically teach college students how to teach health and PE courses at the K through 12 level. So I am living the dream. I love change. I love differentiation in what I'm doing. And so my favorite job is the full-time middle school level. I love that age group. They're my absolute favorite human beings ever to educate. And then it's really nice to have that break and kind of dive into, collegiate, higher education teaching. It's really nice to collaborate with adults and young adults, middle-aged adults as students on these really important topics and see them grow in the course as well. So that's really awesome. And then I also teach virtually for another school district in Missouri that I teach middle school health, and I also teach summer school, high school health virtually. So a lot of you may be thinking like, what the heck, you're insane. Why are you teaching so much? Well, the bottom line is I've always known, truly since I was age 5, I've always known that being a teacher was in my blood and it was my calling from God. And so really it's kind of a feeling of like the more areas I can teach and I can grow personally and professionally in, and the more, students I can, touch with these topics and really get involved and advocate for, the better. That's kind of how my work mentality has always been. And when I'm really passionate about something, I will do anything and everything to make it happen if it's for the general good of society and my well-being and others' well-being around me. I've had to learn a lot of really hard lessons with working so much though in life as well, like not doing great with time management, balancing. I've really struggled. I've always put work first above friendships, relationships, family at times, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. I'm not making excuses for my decisions in the past with that, but I definitely know I'm not alone. We go to school for years and years and years to get this degree, and that's your identity. So, and you're getting paid for it. So sometimes, and a lot of times for a lot of people, including myself, that does come first. But I've learned over the past, 5, 6 years that that's not always great, right? I've gone through the ringer with, having mental breakdowns and just feeling so overwhelmed with my workload that it was a really big wake-up call for me. And thank God I have an amazing support system. My husband, boyfriend at the time, prior to us getting married, my family, my parents, my sibling, all my friends. It's just, I've been so blessed with a powerful support system to grow through those mistakes I've made with my work schedule. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, well, you're still doing so much. Like, what have you truly learned? Well, I'm not going to get into that in this episode, but I have learned enough to control my time management and make better choices in controlling where I devote my energy, my presence, and my time. So with that background, I also want to make aware that I am an ever-evolving Christian. I am very passionate about growing my faith. Am I perfect with it? Absolutely not. I'm not an avid every single Sunday go to church person, but I try. I try my best. Since COVID, I have really fallen in love with the online sermons. I, have fallen in love with a pastor that is located in, Washington, D.C. Shout out Ben Stewart. You're my dude. And so I really love watching online. I don't go all the time. I've kind of fallen out of touch with my faith at a lot of times. It kind of ebbs and flows with where I've been and what phase of life I'm in and how busy I am. And so I'm very intentional in saying that I am an ever-evolving Christian. Like, I got rebaptized in 2000 and, oh my gosh, I want to say 15, 16. For my own self, and ever since then, again, the ebbs and flows, like, I'm constantly growing and learning, and I'm just striving to get better every day with that, even if it's just a 5-minute devotional. But I wanted to bring my faith up into this to make that very clear that I am a Christian, I am a believer, and that needs to be number one. And without that faith and, that manifestation and setting my sights on the greater good and, checking in with myself and asking myself with my work-life balance, like, are you working, and is the energy that you're putting into work right now and not spending time with family instead, or my husband, is this the right thing to do right now? Like, what is the reason for this, right? Like, is it for God? Is it for the greater good? Is my family and my husband and my friends, are they supportive of it? Are they in my corner? And if they're not, they will tell me. They're my support system for a reason. Every single person in my circle will call me out if I'm doing too much, and I still need those reminders at times. So that's just a little bit of a background on me. I also want to note that I am finishing out, hopefully, my last year of my PhD program. I am in a doctoral psychology program with emphasis in health psychology. So I just started my dissertation, and my concentration on my dissertation topic is the resilience and spiritual fortitude resilience factors of teachers during COVID. So I'll be interviewing teachers from all over about their experience with COVID and how they got through our profession. If you're a teacher, I know you can say amen to that. Like, it was a very hard couple of years. Anybody who has a job in general or just was alive during those times, and even currently, like, we're still struggling through COVID. So my dissertation is really focusing on teachers specifically and our experiences with that. And the focus of spiritual fortitude and how faith played a role in resiliency factors, and if it did for people and if it did not, kind of a thing. So yes, I am a student, and hopefully you can rock that out and finish and graduate as a doctor of psychology in about a year. So background on me. Now I want to just transfer into the topic of what is my why? Why am I doing this podcast? Well, interestingly enough, I've never once in my life ever thought about doing a podcast. I've always hated my voice, for one. I've never thought that I was well-spoken or articulate enough to really be a great speaker, but I always knew growing up that I wanted to speak. I still to this day want to continue traveling, and any opportunity I can have to present to people about important topics. I really am passionate about that, and traveling to continue to learn myself about speaking and, just health and wellness advocacy in general. So I've always wanted to be a speaker, but again, a podcast was never something that crossed my mind. So just fun fact on that. This all quite literally happened over this past weekend, a few days ago, merely 48 hours ago, might I add. So what happened was I teach 8th grade fitness, and I initially wanted to, in my spare time that I don't really have, for free, like no compensation. That's not anything that I care about still to this day. Like, I just want to do it because I'm passionate. I really wanted to create a motivational resource for my students on specifically like with fitness, health and well-being and fitness classes, but I wanted to focus on the mental health aspect of fitness. Because I see my students, I can see my co-ed classes struggling with insecurities when we start the semester out. Every year I've seen it, and that's very normal. Very normal. We've all been through that as humans, and even as adults today, we struggle with mental health, things with fitness and body image dysmorphia. But it really was rampant for me over these past couple of years. I've noticed in some of my students just how nervous they were to try new things in class with fitness. And, it's a co-ed class too. So, that also plays a major factor in like wanting to work hard and, put your best foot forth, right? And so it just really stood out to me that these kids need resources on mental health with fitness and how to help get through these insecurities. Like, it can't all just be a physical fitness class. The curriculum for the class it's kind of outdated. There's really no mental health components to it. And again, since COVID, it's been a big thing with mental health. So that was my original inspiration this school year. Was I just really wanted to create a motivational resource that my kids could use and find on YouTube, or, other schools could use to show to their students. And so it really was student inspired. I saw them struggling. And also over the past 8 years of my teaching career, in addition to my higher education teaching experiences, I have seen so much pain and struggle, and I've been told by my students how much they're struggling in life with mental health, emotional health, relationships, family, sports, like anything, you name it. We've all been teenagers. We've been there. We've all been young adults. We've had problems. We are adults and we still have problems, right? So again, my students really inspired me all over the past 8-9 years of experience, even with my coaching experience, that there needs to be more resources for them to tap into, that are school appropriate, that they can have access to, that they can learn more from. In addition to that, health education in the public school system. Again, I'm a little naive to how it is and how it works for, all school districts, but based on my personal experience as a student back in the day and now as a teacher, kids don't get health education enough, like bottom line, and it is a problem. It's a massive problem. For example, the way we've been teaching, our kids every school year get less than, I would say at most, about 16 days, and think each class period is about an hour, honestly less than an hour. So less than 16 hours of health education the entire school year. And then you look at summer school, right? I teach summer school health, and that is a crash course. I love teaching it so much, but it's a 4-week health education course where I am cramming in 16 high school weeks of health education content into 4 weeks. That's it. So we are like, it is a fast-paced course. It's a fast track. These kids just want to get this class out of the way so they can take new things in high school, which I totally get also on their end of things. But from a logistics standpoint, that's not right. And then you go into an actual high school year. If kids don't take summer school health in the summertime, the crash course, they only have to take health education one semester their entire high school career, and that usually happens their freshman year. And then they forget about it. They're going through a lot of stuff as they're growing through their high school chapters and going through more drama and more trauma and more heartache and heartbreak and mental, emotional, social, spiritual, physical health problems. They don't have the resources every day. They don't have a teacher every day in their high school career telling them these are the tools to help you navigate these hard situations. Guys, health education is the class that I am passionate about, and I knew ever since I was a little kid that I wanted to teach, and I knew that I had a purpose to help spread the word for health education. Bottom line, I knew that this is what I needed to do, and I'm passionate about the problem that schools are not getting educated enough. These kids are not getting educated enough on what they need to learn. And then, not to mention, we have a very specific school curriculum that, we have to cover all of these wide-ranging topics of health education in such a short period of time. So again, bottom line, like, there's not enough time in one teaching day to cover the topics that these kids need to learn about. Every topic in health curriculum is critical for their learning and their education. We still don't have time to cover it all in the depth that they deserve, right? So that really bothers me. And so it really inspired me to see my hurting kids, them coming to me and sharing really vulnerable things with me that we don't do as much as we would like to. And it's not because we are choosing not to, it's because we just simply don't have time in the day. So my inspiration for this, my why for this, is to create an additional platform where my students can tap in, middle school, high school, college level, and adults beyond, everyone in between, teachers, no matter who you are. If you're a human being, you know what it's like to go through hard things. You know what it's like to struggle with physical health, mental health, emotional health, social health, relationships, spiritual health, your purpose in life. And so I really wanted this to be an extra platform where I can just openly talk, school appropriately, of course, with people that can tell me about their experiences. There will be episodes where it's just me, short episodes where I'm educating you on things with my specialty and expertise. But then a lot of episodes I'm going to pull, awesome people to come in and tell their story and answer certain health-based questions and let us into their world to help, again, shed light on society about things that help us teach messages on how we are not alone. We don't talk enough about things that we're going through. And I think it's very, very important and pivotal and critical in our development and success and happiness as a human that we talk more and we shed light on common things that all of us struggle with in the health field. And that's the beautiful thing is health, again, is so many topics. The topics are endless in any of those categories. So after contract hours, like the title, where that came from is I've been really big on with my work addiction, my self-proclaimed self-addiction. And through therapy, I have been told that I am addicted to working and I'm addicted to chaos. And, as a result of what I've gone through in my childhood and what I've witnessed and what I've experienced, I am addicted to chaos. So if I don't have chaos, I like to create it. So add another job to my plate, do this, do that. And again, even though some of you may think that I'm still crazy having all these teaching jobs, I do have a lot more time management and control over my well-being as a result of the growth I've had through therapy and with my social support system. So after contract hours, the title really hones in on that concept of let's leave work at as soon as contracted hours end. Like, you don't need to stay at your work, Courtney, and in your office for 5 more hours. That's exaggerating, but even, 3 hours, I've definitely done that a million times. Stayed really late and worked and worked and worked and prepared and prepared and prepared. And that was taking away time from my husband or my friends or my dog, like I needed to make a change. And since COVID, after contract hours has been a big thing, and, leave at the end of your shift immediately. Like, don't stay, don't work yourself to death. So that's kind of where that comes from. And then my catchphrase is we're clocking out after work hours. We're clocking out of work hours to check in on the well-being of the world, because that's what I'm doing. That's what I really want to help create is I'm checking in on people. I'm checking in on you and whoever you are. These messages are for you. Each episode may not be verbatim what you need to hear, but it may be something that a friend of yours really needs to hear, or a family member, or just a loved one in general, that you can share and help promote the goodness and the purity of what this podcast is intended to be. So I think I had one more thing I wanted to kind of touch base on my goals. And just really to ignite a fire in society to start embracing talking about things that we shut out so much. I did my first official episode with former Bachelor star, reality TV star Clayton Echard, and more than a TV star and a reality star from, ABC's popular television series and shows. He's a human being, and he was my first interview. By the grace of God, I just put myself out there. I messaged a bunch of, people all over Instagram. As a result of rejection, mind you, I felt rejection. My initial vision of creating a resource for my kids. Nobody verbatim rejected me, but I initially started with, friends around me and, family and, people I work with. And I just shot out this mass email looking for people that would want to volunteer to be interviewed, a structured interviewed about body dysmorphia, and what their experience was as a teenager and how that evolved into adulthood, right? And I was not rejected. That's not the right word. But like, I didn't really get a lot of buy-in. I had awesome people respond, and shout out to those of you that did respond and tell me like you were on it, you were ready to rock and roll. And it was beautiful. I guess in a way I did feel, my own worst critic. I kind of felt rejected. I was shocked that I didn't have more buy-in. I was shocked that more adults weren't, open, I guess, to talking about these hard things and kind of modeling for these kids that that's what we want, right? And I'm not a parent yet, but I know that there are parents out there that have shared with me that like they wish their kids talk to them more about hard things. And sometimes we need to be the ones to prompt those conversations with our kids. So I guess I was kind of shocked that I didn't get more people to volunteer. Again, not that I was not grateful for who I had. It was amazing, and I gave you guys all the gratitude in the world if you're listening and you were one of those people. So when I was driving home that day, I was in my head. I was kind of bummed, like bummer. Like I didn't really get a lot of people that were interested, and I feel rejected. Like, is this a sign from God or the universe that like I really shouldn't be doing this for my students? Is it even going to be worth my time that I hardly have, right, to create just, as a hobby for my kids? And, the more I was in my head about it on a negative way, I was driving home and it hit me in my brain like, you know what? No, I'm not going to focus on a feeling of being rejected. Like I'm being dramatic. I'm going to shift my thinking. Who inspires me with this topic? And, famous people, content creators, people that I follow on social media that have inspired me in everything that I'm passionate with. I'm just going to put myself out there and reach out to people and see if they respond. And I didn't expect any responses, but Clayton Echard was the first person that responded. And he was an absolute blessing of an experience. If you haven't seen that episode, please check it out. It's my first episode all about mental health and male body dysmorphia in society. It's so powerful. But my interview with him that originally started out as my vision to start this, series of interviews with people to create a motivational video for my kids ended up being inspiration for the podcast, because by the time that episode was over, I was talking to my husband and I'm like, that wasn't an interview at all. And I think I even said that in the episode with Clayton and to Clayton directly, like that wasn't an interview at all. I only asked like 3 questions out of the 20 that I had ready and prepared for him. It was a dialogue. It was an open, active, listening conversation on both ends. And it was supportive. It was vulnerable. It was empathetic. It was compassionate. It was loving. And it was everything. I get, again, goosebumps just reflecting on that interview with him. Sorry, that non-interview, that conversation, that open dialogue with Clayton, because it was so powerful. And I really just reflected on that experience. And this past weekend, totally shifted my goal to I'm no longer going to just focus on body dysmorphia with these conversations that I have with people. I want to focus on it all. Anything health education related, any topic, physical health, fitness, sleep, nutrition, right? I'm going to get people on here that are experts in these fields and that can share knowledge, and I'll share my experiences as well. But I want to get this platform available for more people to use their voice. Exactly what Clayton also says in the episode. Like, so many people in the world have this powerful voice and need an opportunity to speak and share. And I would love to be that. platform for them. And, again, even for myself and for my colleagues, to share more health education content that we just can't cover in the classroom for our kids. So I look forward to having conversations with my students. Again, this whole podcast is student inspired. They're going to give me some ideas of what content they would love to learn more about with health education that they're struggling with. And we can, get some more experts on here. And not even experts, just human beings that have a voice, a passion, and a desire to help society grow and make the world a more compassionate place, just like Clayton Echard did, and the impact that he had on his episode. So I'm really excited. And Clayton, again, I can't tell you enough how grateful I am for you in that experience. And I just am so excited for future episodes to evolve and develop. And at the end of the day, everyone, I really just need your support in helping to get this podcast out there. I don't care about money. I don't care about, getting attention from it from a fame perspective. Like, that is so silly and so far beyond like my thought process. It's not silly. Like, a lot of people are doing it for that reason. And if it gets to that, great, but that's not my goal. My goal is to get people here, to get the word out, to help my kids grow, to give, adults more of a platform to share. Parents can come on here, share messages that you want your kids to hear, learn, grow. I just want this to be a platform that everyone embraces and can help reach the world, and help us grow, because especially since COVID, our world is in a pretty low place and we need some insight. So I'm honored, I'm blessed, and I'm privileged to have an opportunity to have the equipment, the setup, the husband, the support, the family, the friends in my corner to keep this going. If you are someone out there watching this, listening to this, that has a health-related topic, again, physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual, occupational, anything that you think that you can be really impressionable with, and your experience can really help my students and adults and teachers and anyone in the world, please contact me. Let's collaborate. I'd be so thrilled to have you part of this, to help expand this for the world. Sorry, I need a drink. So, with that being said, at the end of every episode in the future, I'm going to have a level up application piece. So after any interviews or, podcast dialogues that I have with my special guests, try to stay tuned in till the very end, like the last minute of the podcast. I'm going to have a level up application where I kind of summarize some key bullet point lessons that I want you to take away from the experience of that conversation. Yes, I want it to be just a great experience. I want laughter. I want learning. I'm going to provide research and statistics, and again, like very educated people on here to help provide those, details for each topic. So you're going to laugh, you're going to learn, and then you're going to level up. The ultimate goal is that at the end of each episode, you can apply these tools and strategies and methodologies that you are gaining from the knowledge of each episode to your personal life to level up. And for those of you who may not know what level up means in this new generational slang terminology, is basically it means self-growth. Like, how are you going to propel yourself in happiness, contentment, peace, love, joy, to be a better you. And at the end of the day, guys, you can't help other people if you yourself are not good. So that level up application is going to be a big driving force at the end to remind you that this is not just a podcast where we talk and dialogue, but we come together at the end and share the things that you really are meant to take away from that episode. So remember to stay tuned, hang in there, fast forward to the end if you want to just get that quickly in your day. And yeah, that's a powerful ending to it. So I need you. I need your help. I appreciate the current love and support that I have, but please, any opportunity you have, like, support, and share, subscribe. I'm new to YouTube content creation. I have no idea what I'm doing. So subscribe is a big word. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my Spotify playlist with all my episodes. And please reach out to me. I look forward to collaborating, and I love you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a great time and ultimately learned something new. Remember to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and Spotify. to stay updated with my latest episodes, but more importantly, to keep spreading the word about this trusted resource for our students and young adults around the world. Your support means everything. Until next time, keep laughing, learning, and leveling up.